And
I love that. I love that intro music too.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
It's really nice. Yeah. Did that just come canned with the package?
Yes, this is default music with this podcast studio I bought. And, we've talked about getting our own music on it, but someday, we've liked this music so much, I don't know if it'll ever happen.
It's worked really well.
Welcome back to another segment of the Two Joes podcast. I am joined with Mojo on my right, RastaJoe on my left. Welcome to the podcast, guys. I'm so glad you came, RastaJoe. Our first segment was stellar, and looking forward to this one.
I'm so glad to be here, guys. Thank you. It's an honor.
So, beautiful Sunday, Salt Lake Valley, Mojo Studio.
Had a jam last night. We were just briefly talking about that. Mojo was complimenting me on my blues, which I am grateful for. I appreciate that.
Yes. Listeners, you heard it Labor Day weekend. You heard him do I want to be clinical and technical here. You heard him do the blues progression in the key of A. Is that a correct thing to say?
Yes. And what's funny about that to me is I know the progressions, and I can play in a couple different keys, but I know absolutely like no blues tunes. I'm a B.B. King fan. I've listened to a lot of blues in my day. You could
have fooled me.
But I don't know how to play a single song. I need to correct that.
It's
fantastic stuff. Yeah, this is wonderful. And Rasta, you have a deep love of music also.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, some of my fondest memories, I remember, so my siblings are much older than me. So, and this is back in the 70s where, and I think your love of music, a lot of that will depend on your upbringing and some of the environment that you grew up in. The siblings.
I concur.
But I remember I'd sneak down into the basement and I'd pull out all my brother's records, and they had, they had Steely Dan, and they had Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the Ohio Players, and Foghat, and Queen, and I mean, God, you just Sticks, and all that stuff back from the 70s is, just so
Cheap
impactful.
Trick? Any Cheap Trick in there?
I don't remember any
Boston.
Cheap Stick. Yeah, and the music that really hit me and that really still speaks to me is the rhythm, the blues, the R&B, and again, that comes from my brothers and my sister. All the stuff that they listened to back in the early to late 70s, that hard rock era, the Stones, the Who, and a lot of people will say it to their shame, disco, but God, there was so much good disco
great
back
disco music.
there.
There really is.
Back in those
Great disco music.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, still to this day, the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever is God, I'd be feeling me some goddamn Saturday Night
KC and the Sunshine Band do it for me. I love that stuff. Every song sounds the same, but I still love it. It's just so good.
Yes, every episode of Dukes of Hazzard was the same, but I loved it. I loved every one of them.
Yeah, but I just had a love for the R&B and soul. That really struck a chord with me, and it has carried over to this day. And I mean, I just remember growing up, especially in the 70s when Kiss was at the zenith. I remember Kiss was just. Everybody loved Kiss, and Kiss scared the shit out of me.
Me too.
Then.
I didn't. Yeah, they frightened me. I didn't want to do. I never bought one of their albums ever, and when I saw them,
I just remember that cheesy ass TV special where the god awful special effects and they're flying through space. It scared the shit out of me.
And yet they showed us how you can become a multimillionaire by playing 3 chords. 3 chords. Every one of their songs was 3 chords. Amazing stuff. Amazing. So you love music. Do you play anything? Are you a percussionist or a guitarist or a vocalist? No, wait. I can answer that, at least in one point. Do you remember one time when my fiance at the time and you were riding in a car from Sandy Station, and you put on some jazzy thing that had some trumpets and some.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, for sure.
And you used your voice to emulate everything we heard coming out of the speakers.
Yeah.
And my fiance and I were on the floor mats laughing our asses off. It was amazing.
We've got a human beatbox here. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Very much. Can you do a little bit?
Joe,
what song was it? Do you remember what song it was, Rasta?
Joe Henderson. The name of the album is State of the Tenor. It was a double album, Blue Note Records.
Goddamn. Love it.
The second of two sides. I believe it was Boo Boo's Birthday was the name of the song.
Can you give us like 12, 15 seconds of...
Shit, you're putting me on the spot.
Joe Henderson, what was the song? What was the song?
Boo Boo's Birthday.
Boo Boo's Birthday was the name of the song.
Can you pipe in the internet and...
we haven't done that yet. We got to experiment with that.
Well, and plus, then you run into a whole bunch of copyright issues.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, Rogan talks about that all the time.
Have you noticed he's showing less? Or you don't listen to Rogan.
Well,
you listen to him on iTunes or something,
yeah,
right? So you don't see the video at all.
I don't think I've ever watched a podcast.
But he used to put up videos all the time, but he doesn't do that much anymore.
I wonder if that's the future, is get rid of the video on the podcast. Just do strictly
That's why
audio.
I'm not too worried about it,
It might be. I think most people are, like Rasta, more... They're driving a lot, and they're just intellectual.
Or doing laundry,
they just
or programming.
Need the words coming in.
Yeah,
they don't
you just need a little
visual.
background.
They don't need to see.
Yeah.
So we don't want to put you on the spot, but if you feel it,
Joe Henderson.
But if you can pass, you can do a pass. I'm going to let you do that.
Rasta was in the back seat, I remember. No, you were driving. That's right. You were driving. Yeah. It was your rig. It was your song. That's right. It was your car. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. You were in the car with me, and I can't believe you remember that.
Oh, dude, it was funny. It was funny. If we were on the ground.
I mean, I'm a jazz fan, too. I mean, I don't listen to jazz a lot, but Joe Henderson is great. And so his style, he's a saxophonist, and he really gets after it, kind of in the same similar type of. I guess like a Coltrane or, all those, improvisationalists. And one of the things that I loved about Joe Henderson is when he kind of tapers off at the end of the note, and he gives it a really hard with the sax. And and the intro to
was that his main instrument, the sax?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And he had like a 15-piece band behind him too.
Well, so I remember it was if memory serves me right, it was a live recording, and it was just mostly acoustic, where he's got the stand-up bass, and he's got the percussionist, is him, the horn player, of course, just kind of down to the nitty-gritty. But I just remember the intro starts out with the stand-up bass, and I had the bazoom badoom badoom boom bazoom badoom badoom bazoom badoom badoom bazoom badoom badoom bazoom bop bop bleep bop bazoom bop bop bleep bop bazoom bop blop bazoom bop zip beep spong bibbidi beeps bleebidoo bleebidoo.
Nice.
Marker, get that shit off.
That was great.
We're letting it ride.
That's why I delved. That's why I dived in right there.
So,
I knew I could get that out.
So I know I know RastaJoe was at your 50th birthday jam there, Mojo. Is that what he did at the jam to participate?
No.
I don't think we ever really got out of him then, as far as, is there an instrument he plays?
He was percussion that night. He did percussion.
Percussion, cool.
Which is essentially what he just did with his mouth.
Yes.
It's very similar.
It reminds me of Welcome Back, Kotter, right? And what did the guy? What's his name? Something boom boom Washington. He says, well, "What's the boom boom from?" He goes, "Because I played the stand up bass." Boom 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 boom.
I can't believe you had me do a Joe Henderson beatbox. You're fired.
All I can do is attract and appreciate good music. I can't make it.
What?
I can't make the
Not
good
even,
music.
man. Your harmonica playing's really coming along. Last night when you were playing the harmonica, I was very impressed. If you could sit down with Harp Joe and learn how to bend a note or two, dude, you can take it to another level real quick.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have yet to hear your harp playing.
Oh.
I'd like to see it.
When did you get that kit? You have a kit now that you haven't had the whole time I've known you, right? You acquired that fairly recently.
That was about 6 months ago.
Okay, that's nice. And you're bringing it to all the jams now, which is awesome. And
Yeah.
I think that's great.
And I know that when I'm jamming with you and the elder and younger Check Joe and others, that all I need is my harps. That's all I need. You know?
Well, and there's lots of guitars around. You can jump on
There's
a
always
guitar
a guitar around,
exactly.
that we can play on. Yeah,
Well, that's cool.
fun stuff.
I gotta jump in some of these jam sessions.
Yeah,
You got to start coming to them. Yeah, I mean it's a fair drive for you, but dude, it is worth it. It is the creative juices.
That's what I was going to bring up, because you mentioned you listened to some of the podcasts, and I was wondering, because I think that's one of the questions that Todd Sylvester never really answered me to my satisfaction, is my question about creativity and what part does that play in mental health, mental wellness. Right. And you were thinking, you needed, I think it was before we started the first segment, you mentioned something like you need to do something more creative in your life or get something going. Is music going to be that something, or is podcasting going to be that something?
Great question. I've got a follow up for that too. Rasta, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to when I was a kid, and I've always been kind of a right brain thinker, and I've always been more inclined towards the artistic side of things. And I just remember I was into comic books when I was little.
Me too.
And one of the things that I loved, not just the story, but was the artwork.
Oh, totally.
And I could, I could just sit there for hours on end and, try to duplicate the style of the artist. And
so you were drawing.
Yeah.
I've seen his drawings.
Yeah,
I've seen
very cool.
It's
a great way to get started.
Because I don't know. I mean, you get so wrapped up into the day to day, and you forget about how important and how powerful that creative outlet is.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked Rasta if he would be the visual creative force behind Berzanth.
That's still a thing.
Wow.
Yeah,
you lost me there, dude.
Yeah, I know I did.
But you know who needs like a logo or what do they call it? The banner for our YouTube channel is the Two Joes podcast. We could use a little artwork there. Maybe that could go up.
That'd be great.
That might be cool. So are you going to get back into art? Is that what you're thinking about doing?
So
that's awesome. My brother's an artist. It's so neat what he can do.
Right. My a family member of mine is very, very artistic, and as a matter of fact, when he was at Brighton High School, he won the Sterling Scholar for Art and won a scholarship.
D or T?
T.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's such a good dude. My brothers, my sister, they're just the best. He I think just kind of instilled a love for art when I was little. Mm-hmm. So if anything, if it's not art, if it's not a sketch, if it's paint, I mean, hell,
if it's not pornographic, he's not interested.
Well, and today it's digital.
Speak for yourself, Mister.
You want to get the stuff online,
hell, if it's just like a pottery class or anything, just to kind of flex those creative muscles, because before long, if you don't continue to work those muscles and have that creative outlet, they'll atrophy.
I believe that,
and that's not good.
And it doesn't take much.
Good.
That's why I tell people, always have your guitars out, which I see Mojo does. I didn't even have to tell him that. He already had them out when I met him. But I keep my guitar out and close, and I pick it up every now and then throughout the day, usually at lunch after I finish my food.
On a stand or on the wall?
On a stand. I'll finish my lunch, and I'll pick up my guitar and play a couple songs, practice, get ready for the jams, Yeah, exactly. Something I'm working on.
I'm going to have to get RastaJoe #1 over here, because number two is the athlete. #1 is the musician. He picked up a guitar and basically taught himself, mostly YouTube and holy smokes.
A lot of bar chords. I saw him recently.
So good.
It wasn't long ago. I saw him. A lot of bar power chords.
And
A lot of power chords.
The thing that I love is he's a metalhead, so he really
no wonder power
he really
chords.
thrashes on
Power
the electric
chords and some
guitar.
distortion, yeah.
But he was strumming his acoustic today, and the thing I love about it is he loves to create his own music. So you learn, most kids, they learn how to play covers, but I don't know how many kids really divert off into doing their own thing and playing their own music, but that's what really drives him, and that really flips his switch. I'd love to have him around so you can see him get after it. And not only that, but just to see his own work, his own creations. I'm biased because I'm his dad, but he's phenomenal.
Sure.
That's so cool.
He would benefit from watching some of our blues jams.
Plus, I think he would benefit in seeing this whole setup, the audio setup, because he's very interested in recording
Very
and
cool. Yeah.
the digital the digital
How-tos.
creative side of things as
Yeah.
well. So yeah,
Does he record his own songs already? Does he have a little mini studio set up somehow?
So he kind of jerry rigs it with a smartphone and a computer. And,
okay.
But he uses an app. Gosh, I forget what.
There's many of them.
Band Lab, I think it is, and he's quote unquote published stuff that again I'm very biased, but I just think it's phenomenal. But he really does have some talent.
He's doing what
you need to do in this day and age.
Cutting edge society stuff right now.
Yeah.
He's looking to publish himself and get it out there.
That's the way to do it.
And make it. My nephew published a little beatbox mix that he put together, and he told me, I don't know how true. He told me he got paid like $85 for this beatbox thing he put together and sold to somebody. And I don't know if that's true, but I do know that people are putting content out there on the internet and making a living and doing okay with it. They're doing okay with it. It's
very cool. It's a neat time to be a musician in this era.
Or a podcaster.
My only regret is that I wasn't out sooner. I could have been doing it longer.
We could have been the first podcast. We were only 7 years late.
Yeah.
What a bummer.
Imagine the kind of shit that we could have done if we had the internet back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
I just think of
for us it was MTV was the wow, blow your mind kind of thing.
And it was mind blowing.
It was
back then,
awesome.
wasn't it?
I loved it.
Yeah,
Those
I
are
did
all
too.
the covers I love to learn and do now are the ones I saw on MTV all those years ago. But if I would have had YouTube to help me learn guitar and to learn those covers, because what I like about learning covers is that it helps you find different chord progressions and things that work together that maybe you wouldn't have thought of. And then you can take those same progressions, switch it up a little bit and put it into your own song. And it helps a lot that way.
Yeah, no
If
question.
the internet were around back in the early 70s, I would have just shown pictures of my high score in Space Invaders on Atari. That's what I would have been doing. Internet's always been around. It's just much different today. Much different than it used to be.
But I just think of the all the ideas that Compai Joe and I had when we were little about how how we could make our own superhero movies and do like a claymation kind of a thing, and all those tools are at their disposal for kids nowadays, and I'm so envious.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm also envious that they can be creative. They can do whatever they want to do and record it and upload it and see if anybody likes it. They can do it. Back in the day, we were doing, our karate things and lightsaber battles in the basement, and nobody saw it.
Right.
There's nobody to record it. It's gone to memory.
right.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
And today, anything you do, you can make pancakes and upload it.
Yeah.
True, true,
so
dude.
true.
You've been making waffles a very long time. I found out today. Maybe you should do a video about how to make a good damn waffle.
What's up, Waffle Joe?
Waffle Joe.
RastaJoe's wife is guilty of one thing, and she does take a lot of pictures of her meal that she's about to eat and upload it. And
She's
send
got like
it.
an Instagram that takes pictures of her meals.
No, it's Facebook is all the only place I see it.
I see.
Yeah, I'm not a Instagram person. I've never been
me
on
either.
Instagram.
It was Becky that got me on Instagram.
Yeah, she's
Yeah. That's what
Shout out to Becky Huff.
Becky Huff. That's a worthy
previous
follow.
guest on this
She
podcast.
is a
Check
worthy
it out.
follow. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, she participates in the jams from time to time, right?
Well,
She's been to one.
No, only one.
That's
only
when
one.
I met her. She came to one jam,
okay.
and I partied fouled my butt off. I was trying to get her involved, trying to ask her, well, who do you like? What kind of music should we can play? I know a lot of songs. Maybe there's something you might like. And she said John Mayer, and I was like, oh.
Oh, you gave a thumbs down too. You said,
I totally.
No way.
What kind of fool asks this wonderful girl what kind of music she likes and then gives her a thumbs down? What an idiot.
Oh,
man.
yeah,
I had to kick myself on that one. Man.
And she took advantage of that moment, didn't she?
Now
She
it's just a
did
running
brilliantly.
joke, and
She
it's so fun.
She
yeah.
just said, "Hey, man, you asked me for a song."
Well, she's the
And
one who
then you
first
give
said
me a
party
thumb-
foul.
Yeah, then she said party foul, man. That's it. It's a charming company. Charming company.
Yeah.
Once again, the call-out name is Becky Huff. Welcome back, Becky.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That was
And
golf.
do you remember Main Joe? That she sang that night, not the whole night, but one or two songs
I think
near
so.
the
Yeah,
end.
yeah. I
Near
think she
the end.
participated that way. Yeah, yeah.
And I found her voice charming and very nice.
Yeah.
And I hope she will exercise it and explore it, see what she might do with it. I really hope she does that.
Yeah, I
That'd
wonder
be a
what.
great thing.
Yeah, yeah. She's got a lot going on, though. I mean, I think she's found her creative outlet. She's quite a good writer. You know, if you read some of those Instagram stories that she takes a picture of that person and then she writes their story. That's all her writing. You know, it's not people dictating. She interviews them, takes notes, and then goes back and then writes the story up herself. So she's quite a good writer, and that is probably what her creative outlet is, I imagine.
She's a
Or just one
journalist.
of many, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's an author.
I'm excited to have her back very much.
Yep.
Yeah, that's wow.
So
Tip my hat to
RastaJoe's
her.
going to get his creative juices flowing. He's going to pick up the
Yeah.
art again, hopefully.
Yeah,
That's going to be awesome.
That's something that I definitely need to work back. Well, let me try that again.
right
I need
back.
to work back into the fold.
Yeah, and in music, I understand you play the drums and you're a good beatboxer, so that might be another
Yeah,
way to
and I
get your
can-
creative juices flowing.
I can strum the guitar a little bit. The guitar that the acoustic guitar that my son is playing is the acoustic guitar that my brother started off with. The thing's got to be close to 50 years old now.
Nice.
And
I like quality
yeah,
instruments.
and so
Is it a Yamaha?
It's
or
a Epiphone.
Yeah, Epiphone.
Nice.
Yeah. So I can strum a few chords, and I'd like to get back into that as well. You know, it's just so much fun.
It's a great time.
And that's something like
blast.
my wife and I do it together. My wife comes to lots of jams. She's a good drummer, a singer. You know, we worked on a song together for a while. That was a lot of fun. So that might be something you and your wife could do together. I don't know if she's got any inclinations toward music, or
Sounds great.
if you guys share an interest in that.
Mrs. RastaJoe will be the #1 fan in attendance. I don't see her playing a triangle or a drum or a guitar or anything. I don't see her doing that.
Never know.
You
But
never know. Banjo's taking up the uke.
You don't ever know. That's right.
My daughter recently picked up a uke. She's starting to learn. I'm like just thrilled, overjoyed. It's just neat.
That looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I have thought
Such
that
a
would be a
happy
fun instrument to learn how to
Yeah,
play.
It is fun. It's relatively easy. You can play just about anything on it.
Yeah,
What instrument again?
The ukulele. Ukulele.
Ukulele.
Yeah.
Ukulele.
Very fun.
Yeah. What's the giant man's name? Izzy on the ukulele?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Over the Rainbow.
My daughter's learning that one, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
That's the first one I learned on the uke, and couldn't play it today. It's been a long time. Been quite a while. And, you know, it's embarrassing, Main Joe. You are extremely diverse. You can do some blues rhythm. You can play the Monkees. You can play Zeppelin. You can play the Beatles. I have 5 songs that I know and that I play every time we get together, every single time. I wish to expand. I hope to expand.
I gave you the tools.
You did. It's still plugged in.
You got all the songs. You got a guitar to your left right there.
That's right.
I'm telling you, dude.
Making this worse on me, man.
10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day. You'll be amazed at how much you'll improve. And plus, that 10 minutes is going to turn into 20 minutes because it's going to be so much damn fun.
So much fun. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and back to the internet and what a great time to be alive. I mean,
great tool. Great tool.
There's so many amazing artists out there that you can discover.
Yes.
You know, and that. I mean, I'd love all the classics, but there's just so much good stuff out there. And, you know, whether it be like a Spotify playlist that's just automatically generated based off of what you listen to, or
that helps you discover new music, which I love discovering new music. Yeah.
I do too. You know, I think that's one of
and YouTube's algorithm introduces me to new musicians. I love finding.
It finds out what you like, doesn't it?
I love finding people that are doing covers of some of my favorite songs. I find these bands that way that I just love and subscribe to and been following.
Yeah,
it's very neat.
Yeah, there's so much great stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started learning how to play the guitar, it was because of Mumford & Sons.
Yeah, you told me that story.
And I remember
that was the impetus, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I had a guitar for many years before Mumford & Sons, and it just sat in the corner. That's all it did. And then I listened to that on the way home from work one day, and you know what? I'm going to learn that. And it was a great double lesson because I had to retune the guitar. I didn't know how to tune a guitar. I had no idea how to tune a guitar. And they said, okay, you've got to retune this to CAC GCE.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, right. And then you need one of these things called a capo. You got to put the capo on the 5th fret. And then, all right. So it was like a triple lesson.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. You picked a good song. That sounds
I did.
difficult.
And I did pick a good one, Manjo, because it is an extremely simple song.
Really?
When you retune and put the capo on the 5th, it is simple. You played it for me one night.
Well, I tried. I attempted it. But it's a fast strum.
Tuning.
It's a fast strum.
Exactly. That's what the retuning and the capo takes away.
Oh, really?
It makes that irrelevant.
Interesting.
Conga Joe and I have played that one many times. Him on the banjo.
I was just going to say that you also have a banjo. Did you learn how to play a song on the banjo as well?
2 songs. I learned how to play 2 songs on the banjo. And this will be funny. Give me a moment. One of them is Yankee Doodle Dandy, and the other one ain't. That was a quote from a Civil War general on the Union side.
That's funny.
No, actually, it was my son that first learned the banjo. I bought it. I learned the guitar part, and I bought a banjo for him to learn the banjo part. And he did okay. He did great. But it was Conga Joe that came over one night and goes, let me strum that thing. And he just blew it up. Absolutely blew it up.
Wow.
It was fantastic. And I'm excited for you to see it. Manjo, we've been jamming for a long time now, and you haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen your banjo. I've seen the video of you and Conga Joe playing that song, I think.
Different things, yeah. There's not one out there of him on the banjo, and I'm excited for you and Rasta to see this.
Right on.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
It'll be a great time. The younger Czech Joe is just gonna shit his pants when he sees it. It's gonna be awesome. He's seen me play Little Lion Man a couple of times. He's had jams in his backyard and recitals and the drums. You remember his kids were in the drums and everything. And he's had a lot of jams in his backyard before you and I were friends.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever jammed in his backyard.
Yeah. And, he's a topic in himself, the way he loves music and supports us all.
Oh, yeah.
And
got us together.
Hosts the jam, gets us together.
Yeah.
He really did, you know.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, he really took a deep dive into it, didn't he?
Very much.
He had last night. He had us all amped and all mic'd up, and it was pretty epic.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was playing harmonica
lot of investment
into a microphone last night, dude.
Yeah.
You had
your own mic set up, so that was really cool. You could ad lib some blues lyrics and play your harmonica, and it was pretty cool.
It was awesome. Yeah. He puts together a great jam.
And he's set up with recording equipment as well?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he doesn't record, does he?
I think I'm the only one in the group that actually records music. I haven't posted any of it yet, but I'm getting closer. Now that I'm posting these, I kind of know how to do it now, and so I'm inching my way closer to posting some of my covers. That's mainly what I do. But yeah, just a simple setup in my basement with a microphone, and I use Audacity and an old laptop I have, and then I just play one track on top of another.
That's where I do excel. Main Joe is our producer. He brings the equipment, he does the editing, he publishes. He's our guy. He's the producer. When it comes to publishing music over the past 10 years, I'm the king.
Oh, that's true.
I am the
You've
king.
got that Facebook account, right?
Dude,
Is that what you're talking about?
On my deathbed, that's what I'm going to be looking through, just a loop of all the music I have, all the video, the music, the new. I can't start saying names here. I have to use Joe names, but Shy Joe's eldest, and Conga Joe, and Harp Joe,
and your niece.
Yeah,
I don't
indeed.
know what we're calling her.
And you.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. You guys did an Elvis song
Yeah.
that night. That is one of my favorites. And on my deathbed, when Rasta and I are 85 years old, that's going to be on a loop. It's just going to be on a loop. And that's how I want to go out, right there.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's more to come, too. That's what I love most, Main Joe. There's more great music to come.
I think so.
Great
I think
music
so.
to
Everyone's just getting better, because that's another thing that when you jam together, it motivates you to practice. You know what I mean? Like I said, I pick up my guitar every day after lunch or at the end of my lunch break, just to practice, make sure I'm keeping my fingers nice and my calluses going,
Right.
Keep my rhythm going, maybe learn a new song, maybe fix my...
Keep those strings soft, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Every time, so many times I hear Main Joe and I hear Mean Joe when my mind goes back to the old 70s commercials with Mean Joe Green.
Mean Joe Green, yeah.
Wow.
I love those commercials.
That's a cool name for a guest. Mean Joe.
Mean Joe Green.
Who's going to be Mean Joe?
Mean Joe, yeah.
Who could be
Some
Mean
grumpy
Joe?
dude will have to break down. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Give me the goddamn car. Let me try that again. Give me the goddamn guitar, kid. Give it to you right now. We waving your goddamn terrible towel at me. Give me that goddamn guitar.
Give us a little bit more Joe Henderson. Maybe it's an outro. How far are we? Is this another hour?
Well, we got 32 minutes.
That's
right
damn
now.
good.
Yeah, it's
Damn
pretty good. That's solid. This is a solid segment. We could wrap it up here and do another
sounds
one,
good.
or we could call
We'll
it.
chill session, then do one more.
Okay.
Then do
Yeah.
one more.
Let's do it.
That sounds
Let's do
great.
it.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Outro.
Outro. Okay, I'm on the spot.
Rasta.
Don't let them fool ya, or even try to school ya. Oh no.
Beautiful.
That's it.
Beautiful.
Trust in yourself.
Always.
Trust in yourself. You know what's true to you.
Question what you know. Yeah.